Well, thank you for joining the Python and Oracle Database Office Hours session today. This session is delivered for the North America and Latin America's time zone. It's a recorded session in case you wanted to revise any of the information that I'm gonna present. And if you do not know me, my name is Veronica Dumitriu, and I'm a product manager in the Oracle Database group. I have joined this group relatively recently. Previously, I have been a product manager in the Oracle Analytics space. Namely financial analytics, Fusion Analytics Warehouse, Oracle Transactional Business Intelligence, so basically SaaS. Now, in my current role, I look after programming language APIs, such as the Python driver that I'm going to talk about today. So please feel free to contact me with any questions related to this session, the programs that I'm about to talk later on, and anything that is Python and Oracle database related. The email address that is listed on this slide. Here is just the mandatory safe harbor statement. I will let you read it for 10 seconds. It's important to know that I will be sharing information related to our APIs for Oracle database, but I will not be able to speak to timelines in specific terms. So what we have on the agenda. It's been a while since we had a Python and Oracle database office hours session, and we are hoping to rebuild a community and to give you a few updates on what has happened in this space since last time. I believe it was during the pandemic, maybe. So on the agenda for today, we'll focus on the new Python Oracle DB driver for Oracle database. I'll give you an introduction and also talk about the vision that we have on this new driver. And I will be talking about an initiative that I'm heading, namely Global Developers Program for Python. And this is an initiative for which I'm currently recruiting. So I would be glad to actually hear from you if it presents any interest to you. All right, so before we get started talking about the Python driver, let me give you a high-level view of the larger group that I'm part of and what we are doing here. The Oracle Networking, Data Access, and Database Drivers team is part of the Oracle Database organization, and it provides a comprehensive and integrated suite of open source programming languages APIs, which include the Python Oracle DB driver for Python, which is formerly known as CX Oracle, the Node Oracle DB driver for Node.js, ODBC, JDBC, .NET, and others. So all these drivers are actually used for creating, deploying, and tuning scalable applications and services for Oracle database on-premise and also in the cloud. Now, on the left-hand diagram, you notice a variety of the most commonly used programming and scripting languages, such as C, C++, R, Java, .NET, Node, JS, Ruby on Rails, PHP, Python, just to name a few. My team is looking after the client side, including the client libraries and language drivers for C and scripting languages. Because we own the infrastructure that is used by the drivers to communicate to the Oracle database, we get involved in any database feature that gets exposed to the developers community. Let me see, is this, give me 1 second, I'm just trying to close. All right, and I'm not going to obstruct the screen. All right, so I was mentioning that because we own the infrastructure that is used by the drivers to communicate to the Oracle database, we get involved in any database feature that gets exposed to the developers community. And we provide solutions for mission-critical applications, specifically in the area of scalability and high availability. Alongside with that, we also provide consultation help for third-party developers wanting to connect to the Oracle database. Now, as you know, SQL and PL SQL are the Oracle proprietary languages for Oracle database, but the database supports external code written in any other programming languages, which include Python, R, Ruby, Node.js, and others. So this means that the developers use the language that they are most comfortable with to interact with the Oracle database. And again, on this slide, this is really just a summary of what our team is looking after. We maintain some of these open source drivers, or for others, we collaborate with external people. This is the example of Godrawer. So we operate in an open source support model, and the team drivers talk directly to the database using the Oracle Network Protocol. This is the example of the Python drivers, the Node Oracle DB driver, which has just been released in teen mode today. The tick drivers use Oracle's main C API, the Oracle Call Interface, which is OCI, not to be confused with the most recent Oracle Cloud Infrastructure, which is using the same abbreviation. In the next few minutes, I will talk about the Python driver on the right, but I want to mention that some of the drivers are built on top of ODPI-C, which stands for Oracle Database Programming Interface for C, which is an open source library of C code that simplifies using common Oracle call interface features for Oracle database drivers and user applications. The ODPI-C project is open source and it is maintained by Oracle. Now in this slide, you will notice that according to the most recent surveys and reports published by GitHub, Tayobi, and RedMonk, we notice that there are no seismic shifts in top languages. The most popular programming languages currently are JavaScript, Node.js and TypeScript, and Python. So these are actually lately exceeding Java and the C languages. Why is this important? Well, understanding this is relevant for developers to stay current and relevant on the market, and also for organizations looking to make informed decisions about technology investments. Python is one of the widely used programming languages, and top 5 still has the usual suspects. So we have JavaScript, probably the most widely used for web development. Then we have Python. Some of these sources actually mention that Python is the most used programming language, used for everything from data analysis, spatial, graph, and ML to web development and even automation. Lately, in the recent years, popularity is on the rise. Then this is followed by Java, C, .NET, Node. All right. Why is our driver important and why should you care about it? So the Python driver for Oracle database has been in our recent focus, given the popularity of Python as a programming language. The Python driver is very popular. We notice that we have 3.5 million downloads a month. And the areas where Python is used is literally across all sectors and verticals. We have customers, especially in the financial field, insurances, education, retail, telecom. Also probably due to more machine learning use cases in these sectors. But also Python is widely used in Oracle internally. So we have groups which use it for the Internet of Things, Oracle advertising, list management. The spatial team is using Python for spatial. And it's not just that developers are using Python, but also it's been an increase in the number of data scientists, but also DBAs, which automate their database monitoring and maintenance tasks. Also, we've noticed Python being widely used in testing and in release management for tasks such as administration, monitoring, like I mentioned earlier, spatial, numerical analysis, and so on. All right, a bit of history here. So the background of CX Oracle actually has a long history. It started in 1998 for Oracle Database 8i and Python 1.5. And the CX in the name, if you wondered where does it come from, is actually stand for Computronics. This is the company which was actually developing it. And there have been many updates and improvements since then. In 2014, Oracle started contributing to the driver. In 2017, the driver was refactored to use ODPI-C, which would allow the dynamic linking and loading of the Oracle client libraries. In 2022, because of the fact that some users found the installation of instant client being quite painful, the thin driver python-oracledb has been released with a thin mode. And I'm going to talk about this driver mostly during the session today. So I mentioned the Python driver is the most popular of our open source drivers. It's getting about 3.5 million downloads per month. And as a result, it is used in all sorts of applications, either directly or via popular frameworks, ORMs, and libraries. What do you need to know? On the right-hand side, as you look at this slide, the python-oracledb driver sits in the middle, and it is loaded by Python. It gives an API that you can call. It connects to the Oracle database for all standard relational and JSON operations, including SODA, but I'm not going to talk about today. What you need to know. To make our developers and users' lives easier, in May 2022, we released a new renamed version of CX Oracle. We called it python-oracledb. So there is no CX in the name anymore. It's a major upgrade of CX Oracle 8.3. And the python-oracledb driver enables direct access to Oracle database through its thin mode. One way to think about the upgrade is that we added a thin mode to CX Oracle and made this mode the default. The database can be on the same machine as Python or remote, allowing connections from platforms that don't have Oracle client libraries installed. It allows easier deployment, and it has a smaller installation footprint. So by this, you would get better use of resources and better performance. Now, because of thin, not needing the client libraries, this lets you play with it on platforms such as Apple Silicon and IoT devices. The driver is still a binary module. This is needed for performance. So now python-oracledb has Mac OS binaries, and they run on Intel and M1 chips. An optional tick mode does use those Oracle client libraries, making it the same as CX Oracle. So you have a runtime choice to use tick mode. And though we know that users want all available functionality to be in the thin mode, so you don't need those Oracle client libraries at all, this is for us an ongoing project to provide all those features and functionality also in thin mode. I'm going to talk about this in a later slide. The driver has support for Python 3. We continue to support Python's database API v2 specs in both thin and thick modes. This means that it works with frameworks and ORMs such as SQL Alchemy, Django, and Pandas. The driver is still open source using GitHub for its repository, and the license got updated to Dual Apache 2 and UPL. Installation. python-oracledb is very quick and simple to install. As you noticed, its name has changed to OracleDB. So what you would have to do is you would have to issue a Python pip install OracleDB. In terms of size, the total size is about 18 megabytes on Mac OS for a fully functional driver, immediately usable in applications. So this includes dependencies. You can optionally still install client libraries to be able to use the thick mode as traditionally used by CX Oracle. And the basic package adds about 240 megabytes on Mac OS, so thin mode has a definite size advantage. This is just a graph illustrating actually comparison of installing the python-oracledb default thin mode. So that's without the client libraries versus thick, needing the client libraries. All right, so we got some reviews from our customers who started using the python-oracledb driver. They mentioned performance is better, it's more tightly integrated with the Python ecosystem, and it's more efficient in terms of using the networking. If you are currently using CX Oracle and you wanted to upgrade to python-oracledb, to quickly upgrade, you can import the new driver and give it the old name. Otherwise, you do a search and replace throughout your code. So mostly what you I put here in the slides, you just do an import OracleDB as CX Oracle. Also to note that the connect and session pool function arguments must now be named parameters. And this follows the PythonDB API. The connection string parameter name is DSN, the API standards name for data source name. If you forget to use name arguments, then you can end up with an obscure error message to the database API standard implementation. Also, as a note, thin mode uses spam format wallets to allow connection to the database. tick mode, what you need to do. So the driver starts in thin mode, so nothing else needs to be done to use it. But if you want the extra tick mode functionality, you would need to call the init Oracle client, and of course, separately to install the Oracle instant client. This is the only way to enable tick mode, and once this is called, then you cannot go back to thin mode. Similarly, if you want to try an existing app in thin mode, then you must remove any call to init Oracle client. On macOS, for Intel chips, you would pass the libdir argument set to the instant client directory. Similarly, you can do the same on Windows. However, don't pass libdir if you want path environment variable already included in the Oracle client libraries, because you may end up with conflicting library usage if the versions differ. And on Linux, you must configure your environment library search path, for example, LD library path, before starting your application, so don't pass libdir at all. And if you don't call init Oracle client, you'll just end up in thin mode. I mentioned thick and thick modes. So what are the differences? In our initial release, the thin mode feature set was focused on primarily two items. So one was the database API support for using frameworks. And the second one was the connection management to let the driver be used with different database deployments, such as with RAC and Oracle Cloud. One design goal was to keep moving forward. So thin mode only supports connections to recent-ish database versions. If you want to connect back to older databases, you can continue to use thick mode with an appropriate client library version. Some advanced Oracle functionality is currently only available in thick mode, such as our application continuity features. And we know that you want all these features to be in the thin mode, so you don't need Oracle client libraries. And adding that functionality for us is like an ongoing project. The key points I want you to remember are that thin mode has more than enough functionality to be used for custom applications or with popular frameworks and ORMs in many, many environments. And the second point is that we are working on adding more functionality as we go. An important slide is the active ecosystem. The driver is easy to use directly in all these popular spaces. Major frameworks and ORMs immediately work with the python-oracledb driver via a few application code lines to map to the new name back to CX Oracle. And communities are busy updating their implementations for the new namespace. You can install it from all of your favorite repositories. Just to mention that SQL Alchemy 2.0 has been released in production. It has native support for the new driver. The pandas, which sit on top of the SQL Alchemy, are to be updated to 2.0. Debian and Ubuntu Linux repositories will have the driver internally in the main repository in their subsequent releases, and previously they had CX Oracle. Django, there is a pull request on GitHub to add the native support, and users of Conda Forge are in luck because the user contribution lets you install directly from this forge. Let's talk a bit about the vision. So we are very excited about the future of python-oracledb as it opens new possibilities for applications, and we hope that you share our enthusiasm. Following popular demand, our focus has been pretty much exclusively on thin mode. Also, as I speak, we are in process of releasing a thin driver for Node.js. It's called Node OracleDB. But on the Python side, we are working on ongoing feature additions to thin mode, general usability and performance improvements, frequent driver releases with new features, and we are continuing to improve integration with popular frameworks. We are also trying to get a bit of more understanding of the user space and where are the drivers working, where they are not working. If you're into the machine learning space, maybe you're familiar with the Oracle machine learning for Python. This is going to start using our Python OracleDB driver in the next releases. Another focus point is the OracleDB features. We provide 23C Boolean type support. And I'd also like to mention that Our driver is used even for testing Oracle database features. So any feature which gets released actually is going to make use of our driver in the testing phase. Another focus point is going to be async I/O support, which has been a popularly requested feature. It provides support async processing and parallel processing, and this is a big project, so we don't have a timeline or guarantee. Python-oracledb's async I/O support will allow highly concurrent application design, such as high-performance networking and web servers. There will be multi-cloud support. So we allow connection via tokens. For example, 23C has cloud configuration capabilities for Azure and AWS. And nonetheless, we are focusing on community growth and increased adoption via this new program that I'm going to talk about in the next few slides. It's called Global Developers Program for Python. Also, as a note, we are not adding anything new under the CX Oracle namespace. So we are kind of shifting towards Python-oracledb theme mode. All right, just a few words about the Global Developers Program for Python. I'll start with the program mission. Global Developers Program is an initiative whose mission is to engage in a Python and Oracle database-focused dialogue with our customers and partners. So especially if you are developers, data scientists, development managers, or really like any parties currently using the Python libraries and drivers for interacting with the Oracle database from Python. Just know that I am recruiting a select number of customers who have a Python and Oracle database focus and who want to join our initiative. This is going to be launched next month, so that's June 2023. My goal is to create a close and long-term relationship with our key customers. Customers meaning if you're a developer, like I absolutely welcome you to the program, especially if you can help us identify product gaps and help us set product direction by participating in regular meetings, sharing knowledge, professional experience, and implementation reviews with ourselves, like product management and development teams, and also with your peers. In terms of format, there are two items that I wanted to touch base on. So one is like the topic of these sessions is going to be everything you need to know about Python and Oracle database drivers. And in terms of frequency, the idea is to have topic-focused virtual meetings and webinars held quarterly, maybe around 2-3 hours per session. So then we allow an update from product development side, but also we want to hear from you and understand what are your priorities, how can we actually help you deliver value for your own business use cases. But also aiming maybe to have a one in-person meeting per year with the product management team. It's not just myself in this team. Maybe you're familiar with Christopher Jones and Anthony Tuninga. They both work in my team. So the one in-person meeting probably is going to coincide with the Oracle Cloud World, if possible, since we know that many of our customers and partners do come for the conference. Now, if you are interested in this initiative, I would suggest please drop me an email. The email address is on this slide on the top right corner. And also just to make a note, this is not a customer advisory board. So there will be no CPCAs, no NDAs. It's easy to join. You just have to keep in mind or bear in mind that if there are any secrets that are to be revealed, maybe it's not the right platform to reveal those because we will not have these rail guards in place. But I encourage you to participate because we already ran this program in an internal stream with our groups and organizations, Oracle internal, and it's been quite successful. And then groups are learning from each other, like collaboration is fostered, and it's a great initiative. All right. why would you be interested in joining? I mentioned that I'm interested in developing partnerships and collaboration with the Python for Oracle database customers. We'd like to build our products having your needs as driving our strategy and roadmap. So if you help us understand your business needs so that we could build and incorporate new functionality and capabilities to meet those needs, you will hear the latest updates on product directions and capabilities directly from us in the product management and development group. So this community is gonna be built in order to influence product strategy and solutions. It's gonna have feedback sessions with Oracle PM. It's gonna be a two-way street, and definitely I'm here to listen. All your feedback is gonna be incorporated into the product roadmap, and then you're gonna drive our product strategy. I mentioned that I'm actually encouraging and fostering dialogue via webinars, workshops, speaker opportunities, and in-person meetings where possible. We'll facilitate early adopter listing information and access to new features. The aim is to have a global community. So I'm trying to facilitate even like one-on-one introductions of customer and partner peers. We'll foster sharing of collective knowledge, any professional experience and best practices thinking with this group that I'm aiming to be consisting of a variety of organizations across disciplines and global regions. I hope that I have convinced you about this program, and then if you're interested, please give a shout or drop me an email to join it. Now, before we wrap up, I'd like to provide some resources that you can use to aid to your learning. I put here 2 QR codes that you are welcome to use. The first URL is going to give you access to the python-oracledb driver homepage. The second one is going to be the python-oracledb driver documentation. This can help you understand the concepts, features, and functionalities of the Python driver. Then also just know that the Python driver code is available to be cloned from our GitHub source code repository. And on the right-hand side of the slide, I'm mentioning the live labs. I'm not sure if you're familiar with it, but this is particularly helpful when learning new technologies, allowing you to practice and apply the concepts that you have learned without any risk of damaging your own compute or DB instances. And we have a lab, a tutorial called Getting Started with Python and Oracle Database. This tutorial provides Python sample files that you could actually use or reuse as needed. So I encourage you to just go and check it out. All right, so thank you very much for attending this session. I hope that my presentation on using Python with Oracle Database has provided you with valuable insights into this topic, and please contact me for any questions that you might have. Thank you.